you tell us a little bit about the context of the text in this piece?
Yeah, so this film was based on a series of poems that I wrote. My first wife passed away suddenly about 11 years ago. And so I wrote this series of poems that were based on these journal entries. When your life changes like that, you have to figure out different ways to navigate and figure out what your new life is. So anyways, these are based on recurring themes that will come up as I was working on these things. And so what I wanted to do was I wanted to create a poetry film that had character-based animations that kind of would direct the viewer through the film from each poem to each poem. And then have the poems themselves kind of exist as these disparate ideas, right? And it was important for me to not make a dead wife film. And I mean, I just didn't want it to be, like my wife died, I'm sad, feel bad for me. I wanted the viewer to be able to see loss in it, and not my specific loss, but their specific loss. So unfortunately, I don't have a stronghold on suffering and loss. We all do. And so I wanted it to be a film about not the actual event, but the acceptance of it after a while.
And so is this kind of your aesthetic typically, or did you develop a particular visual style for this piece?
No, I've been working this way. Been obsessed with dots and circular forms since I think 2003. I got my BFA in printmaking, and so I got a job as a printer after I graduated, and it was the idea of these dots representing cells, atoms, soil, the summation that can make up anything. It was the CMYK printing process that, and I've been working with this idea for years now. And this is my first proper poetry film. I've been a video artist for, 15 years, and I wanted to sit down and challenge myself to have a proper narrative, character-based animation driven by poetry.
Questions from the audience? Yes.
Talk a little bit more about the visual stuff, and I don't want to date myself, but it felt very like Max Headroom meets Lisa Frank at certain moments in the best ways of both.
Yeah. No, for sure. I'm, I don't know, I'll be 45 this year, so of course you take where you grew up with, right? And I'm a diehard comic geek. Every Wednesday I'm down at Comic Kingdom. And it still has an influence on it. I mean, I think that a lot of artists who grew up, in the 80s and 90s, comic books, cartoons, these kinds of things, Lisa Frank had that big influence on it. This particular color scheme, I wanted it to be, so what I did was I created the piece, and then I did the negative of everything. So those are the primary colors, and then so they're just flipped in the actual final product or piece. It's Blender and hand animation. Yeah.
Oh, there is hand animation.
The mushroom clouds are hand-drawn frame animation. Yeah. But the 3D, the characters were in Blender, and then backgrounds using After Effects.
Was like all the patterns, was that just like in Blender shader node stuff, or is that post-processing?
It's post-processing. So I sometimes with Photoshop, sometimes with JavaScript. And a lot of crying and gnashing of teeth, because sometimes it works, sometimes it's terrible. I mean, anyone who's done an animation knows that I love it, but it's a nightmare.
Awesome. So what's your next project going to be?
Well, I just finished a new video poem to kind of cleanse my palate of this. I mean, it's not that I don't like it, it's just the subject matter was a little heavy. And so, right, I just finished it, and I'm sending it out to see where I can get it to screen. And then I just finished writing 2 poems about our relationship to, or how AI is impacting us as humans, as well as the environment, particularly where I live. In northern Nevada, they've cleared out whole portions where the desert where they're just going to have these data centers, and they're going to use water. And if anyone's ever been in Nevada, we're the driest state in the nation. Like it's whatever. But and so it's just kind of responding to that of kind of sacrificing what it means to be human, I suppose, a little bit for convenience, and also for kind of have the oligarchy keep chugging along, I suppose. So we'll see what that happens. Like I have 2 poems about that, and I've just started storyboarding one of the poems.
Oh, great. Well, thanks so much for sharing your film with us.